And we are back. Welcome, everyone, to the Anime Secrets Declassified Podcast, JoJo's edition. I am here with Connor Healy and the rare appearance he's woken up from his 5,000-year-old slumber, Rizwan Merchant.
After 9,000 years, I'm awake. Time to conquer Earth!
R.I.P. Rita Repulsa. We love you.
You're the
I had to
MVP.
go there.
And welcome to today's episode where we are recapping essentially the Grateful Dead arc of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind. And fellas, what is it with animals and weird stands in this series?
Nothing beats part 3 with that goddamn monkey.
I believe it is actually an orangutan. You see, monkeys and apes are related but separate creatures, and orangutans are in fact apes.
You know?
But yeah, no, there seems to be a strange thing with stands. Part 3, obviously, experimentation of stands, and that's a thing people should realize about part 3. Is part 3 was partially Araki having to deal with a situation where he had to create a villain of the week type show, but he was also kind of working out how stands would work. And it was very neat that you see, animal stands. But here we see in part 5, they're bringing back animals with stands, but they're also, you see a lot more of the utilitarian stands that or support stands, I guess you could say, that we see in part 4. So this turtle in part 5, his stand is he has a compartment bound to, it's a key, right?
I believe so.
That key. So they pick up that key and they put it in the turtle's back, and then they are transported into a room within the dimensional space of that key. So the key, there's an indentation of the turtle in the turtle's shell in the shape of this key, which I think it's also interesting that it is an item and an animal. So we're starting to see this is a very, kind of a complex stand.
Mm-hmm.
That is a really cool stand, though.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of the orangutan from part 3, where he can produce a giant boat. This one just has a nice little room you can get into, complete with food and beverage.
Yes.
So,
and this time we also don't have a cigar-smoking pervert as the stand user.
That's also true.
My first question is, how does Turtle Stand just have drink and food ready for you? Like, where does that food and drink come from?
Well, it's part of the thing how the boss gets you. He puts the food and drink in there, but he doesn't tell you that he charges you extra from your cut of the take after he inspects it.
Ooh. You know, my hotel fees.
I mean, it leads me to believe that you could honestly just have a whole chain of interesting hotels, and you just have to run like a reptile shop as a front. It'd be the most expensive reptile shop ever. But can you imagine that? Dude, the possibilities for Airbnb, Turtle B&B, are you kidding me? I'd jump on that in a second, because then I'd get to have a cool turtle and a cool hotel to stay in.
Look, all I have to do is if I want to go on a road trip, I just get a turtle with that stand, and at night I just go on turtle, go to bed, come out the next morning, continue driving.
Yep.
That's one less expense on the road.
Right.
Anyway, logistics of reptilian hospitality service related things aside. So
we get the
turtle
in a while with the squadra still in hot pursuit of them, and we get our look at oh shoot, Grateful Dead guy. Why am I prosciutto?
Yeah,
I'm like, think Italian food. Think Italian food. So we get prosciutto and one of the most awkward looking characters in a while, He's so awkward looking. One of my friends just like gets angry indistinguishably just by looking at Pesci.
I don't know, man. I look at Pesci and I kind of like him a little bit, like, cause at the beginning, you know, some people say he's a softie, but I mean, I guess that just means he doesn't really seem like that bad of a guy. Like when Prosciutto brings out his stand and he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna take care of the whole train. And then his brother's like, holy shit, really? You're gonna do that? No, bro, you don't have to do that. Oh my god, I guess there's no stopping him.
Nope.
And that, of course, also shows, as I mentioned a couple of times, just how serious La Squadra is, just how serious these assassins are. Like, they are not messing around at all.
No, and it keeps going back to the point as we keep seeing how they operate, what their powers are. You know why they are the personal hitman squad of the boss. Their abilities, what they can do, it's so flexible, so unique. And this one just aids you up. Doesn't really sound that bad, but then you realize you get older, you don't have as much energy. Oh, what do you need to operate your stand? You need energy. And if you're old, you can't do that.
You have less
And
energy.
and just how fast they aged up too. You think, oh, it's just gonna be like kind of slow and steady. No, it's just like the guy had freaking skipped to chapter 19 on most of these guys. It was ridiculous.
It'll age you faster than watching a 20-year-old post on Twitter, which happens to me daily. For real, though, like, sometime when I was watching that, I see all these people, like, rapidly aging and getting weak. I'm like, oh, man, that's just what being over 30 feels like, dude.
I wouldn't know that
I
feeling.
joke. Yeah, no, so we have this very dangerous stand. Immediately he starts, you know, taking out everybody on this train. It's becoming
Not
pretty apparent.
not just that, but it's seeping into the room because you think, oh,
Yeah.
they're in a jewel, they'll be
Mhm.
safe. No, it's
And
still coming in.
that's interesting. Well, because they talk about how, oh no, the turtle is aging. Well, you know, turtles can live to be like 200 years old. They're very, very old creatures.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's almost like whoever set that turtle up probably knew that they were gonna need something like that, you know, a turtle that can live to be several hundred years or whatever. Now, obviously, once a stand user is defeated, that this would go away, but like, how are you going to get to him? And it's especially dangerous considering that apparently the way this stand works, it is everything within the field of that stand, which is like all through wherever he is and whenever he's in the, it seems it goes through multiple cars of the train, doesn't it? Or
It's he has like a short range,
yeah. So
but
he has to walk from car to car, but everything in that range. So it's extremely powerful in a
it's extremely
relatively
powerful.
small space.
Not just that, but
And the ability to affect a subspace that's created by another stand, that's really, really powerful.
right, not just that, but like even if he leaves that area, you're still affected unless he calls it off. Because he was few cars down, and most of the regular crew, Giorno, Bacchio, and Arancia, were still old.
Yes. And the only way we can really combat this, apparently, is temperature.
Yes.
They later find out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Keep a cool drink on you at all times, because
I mean, it kind of makes sense because you have a heat signature anyway, so it's not a stretch to think that, oh, if you have a higher heat temperature, you're not an animal, you're a higher being or something, or a lower being or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Sort of how Aerosmith worked.
mm-hmm.
but more complex. Yeah, no, you got to get your cool drinks up. You gotta make sure you have your vitality mantle on. Make sure you're bringing something with Elder Seal. Oh wait, sorry. We're dealing with a stand. We're not hunting something in Elder's Recess. Sorry, I had to make a Monster Hunter joke.
Oh, you're all good.
Yes.
I've still never seen Monster Hunter.
It's a video game.
Yeah, so there's some pretty
like gameplay of it.
There's some pretty interesting stuff. Guido Mista he really was a standout in this whole bit here.
Oh yeah. Because they got to send someone for reconnaissance. And what's better for reconnaissance than someone who could actually fight at a distance than Mista? Also, Giorno, Bacchio, and Naranti are all out at the moment. So, got to send somebody up there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bruno has to protect Trish. Trish, at this point, we don't know if she's a stand user or not. Spoilers, you guys know what it is. But, so, you gotta send Mista. And he goes out there and, immediately, takes the bait. It's like, oh, air conditioning. And we see kind of Pesci, while he's not as brutal as Prosciutto, like he still has some cunning to him. He's like, if something gets out, what's the first thing they're going to try to turn on? The AC. So Misa gets out, immediately gets caught.
Yep.
And we get our first look at Beach Boy Pesci stand in, just like the graphic of a fishing hook, because I've been fishing and I've accidentally gotten a hook in my fingers while trying to put in bait. And like that felt weird enough, but just like seeing that go into your wrist and slowly going down, like if you're a bit squeamish about that kind of stuff, these next few episodes may not be for you, because oh man.
Oh yeah. JoJo's body horror is the best body horror. Wait, no, I take that back. Junji Ito body horror is the best body horror. JoJo's is the most stylish.
There you go. So we get our first setup. That ends the episode. Misa gets caught, and we go on to the next one where we actually start the Grateful Dead fight.
And we have also a moment where Pesci steps on a guy's head.
Oh yeah.
And he finally turns over. And let me tell you, one of my favorite lines is, "And there's nobody around to call me a mamoni." Which in Italian, a mamoni is like a mama's boy. So now Pesci's serious.
Well, this happens a little bit later.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This happens, I believe, in the next episode. In this episode, it's still Mista, not Bruno. We get Bruno here shortly. Because it looks like we may have found who might be the punching bag of the series.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Unfortunately.
But because Mista, kind of starts getting hooked into where Pesci is at. At this point, Pesci still hasn't done his killer instinct yet, so he's still nervous. Because he's probably the black sheep of the squadron, which he hasn't really killed anyone.
And they call him a softie for drinking milk, and he hasn't, he's pretty nervous. He's, he cowers anytime his brother says anything, but he's absolutely loyal to his brother. He does anything his brother says.
Mm-hmm.
He has no brain to think for himself.
Mm-hmm.
And so we think Mista's going to get Pesci, but Prosciutto, like pulling a quick fast one, disguises himself as an old man. And I didn't think he was going to do that to himself going into that. I'm like, what the fuck? I thought the old man was going to kind of just distract and Mista enough to where Prosciutto would have appeared behind him. But the old man just like grabs Mista, and then it's like, gotcha. Freaking ages him instantly. Like, whoo. Grateful Dead's scary.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed this like stand ability overall.
Mm-hmm.
They're both really evil stands.
Yeah, that moment when he reveals that it's like, what? You didn't think I'd use my stand on me too?
Yeah, it was a good psych out moment, and
Yeah.
I legit thought we had our first main character dead when he shot Mister point blank in the
That
head.
I remember texting my friend and being very upset about Mista. Because Mista is probably one of my favorite. Well, it's so hard to pick a favorite character,
Mm-hmm.
but I really, really like Mista, and I thought he was a goner in this one.
Same. I'm like, he just got shot point blank in the head, and
You don't
unlike
come back
Diamond is
from
what's up?
you don't come back from being shot in the head.
No, and this isn't like Diamond is Unbreakable, where they have like Uber healer Josuke to basically Curaga everyone. They don't
Yeah,
really
no.
have a healer in
Yeah.
this one. Like
No, they don't.
you get hit, you're gonna get hit, and
Yeah.
Well, I
pray
mean,
that
you kind of have Giarno who can rebuild.
right, but you're still feeling the pain. Like if
Oh
you
yeah,
get donated, you're not gonna live.
yeah,
Like so, like it feels like they're in actual danger this time around. There's not like
Mhm.
a get out of jail free card. It's like if somebody loses their arm is gone. If somebody, now what was the other thing? Like if you get separated from your arm and turn into electricity, you're not coming back.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like all the crazy healing Josuke was able to do, JoJo's entire body getting melted away by acid. Like they don't have that. Giorno can replace the parts, but he can't actually like heal you. Like whatever damage you suffered, you still have suffered it.
Oops. Sorry, folks. That was my work calling me. I don't know if you heard that, but yes, my ringtone is Fighting Gold.
A great
Well,
ringtone.
we can't have it in either way, can we?
Yeah.
And so Mista gone right now. Goner. Dead, we think. And, so the search continues to where everyone's at. But Girardi notices it's like, where's Mista? And, Mista barely survived thanks to his stand, like blocking the bullets from fully coming in.
Yeah. Which, I kind of figured that he would at least, because I like probably some others assume, whenever that gun is out and he's shooting, his stand is in effect and they are directing the bullets or whatever. So they
Mm-hmm.
would probably realize, oh no,
Mm-hmm.
we can't let him get, killed, so we gotta stop, we'll slow the bullet down.
Mm-hmm. And
It also helps that he doesn't have like, a big huge 44 Magnum. It's, it's a 38.
right.
Yeah.
So as they're trying to search for him, Mista was able to send one of his stands, one of the bullets to warn Bruno about, hey, this is what's going on. And we finally, since this is the first time since what, the boat? Since the yacht that Bruno's actually had a fight?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So Bruno
Because
finally gets off the bench, and oh man, I was excited to see him fight again because sticky fingers, Zipper Man, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I knew this was going to be a good one, and it was going to be a dangerous one because he has to deal with a stand that is all about being up close, and if it touches you, it's going to start aging you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And with the AC, you can't do anything about that unless he's gonna like zipper his way over to the AC. But
And even then, even if Grateful Dead's not touching you, the air around him is still aging you slower, but still aging you, unless you have like a pack of ice ready nearby.
Yeah.
And we find out how much of a freaking mad lad Bruno is. He's like, you're the one who's causing everyone to age. All right, we're both getting out of here. He freaking zippers the cabin door open. You see one of the drivers just fall out and just get turned into red mist.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, Bruno, you psychopath.
I mean, he does work for the mafia. Like, he probably figures like, man, they're gonna kill this dude anyway, probably.
Probably.
This dude on this train is gonna wind up offed somehow because the mafia is gonna be like, you saw too much or whatever.
And Bruno said he would go through any measure to ensure the safety of his crew and his mission fulfilled. And that was a heck of a cliffhanger than the first part of the Grateful Dead fight on. And so we get to the second one as both Bruno and Prosciutto are falling off, and you see Pesci just use Beach Boy to kind of reel in Prosciutto, but you know, Bruno, being this crafty son of a gun he is, decides to attach himself onto the line.
Yup.
And oh man, I've seen some things that happen when they get stuck underneath a train. So I was a little bit afraid of what mangled body we were about to see.
Yeah.
When he knocked Prosciutto off.
Yeah. The Blu-rays for that when they come out in Japan are gonna be pretty gnarly.
Oh yeah.
And why Blu-ray specifically?
They air the unedited thing because if you're watching Crunchyroll, it's edited out. It's blacked out.
They do whatever is on TV, and Japan has pretty strict standards and practices. And they have for a long time. Like,
they're not about the gore.
Fist of the North Star, which is an incredibly violent manga. You know, people literally exploding and blood and guts flying everywhere. Well, on TV, they'll show like a shadow of it, or they'll turn it like shiny and white. And this goes back a long time because Japan, you know, they really, for as crazy as manga usually is, they're pretty strict about what they put on TV. And they will, if it's not at like a late night time slot, they'll blur stuff out just because the networks are going to be like, oh, we got kids watching this. We can't show them violence because, you know, different culture, different rules. I think it's kind of interesting. That you have that still, and it's been that way for a very long time. It's nothing new.
Right. Japan is very, very strict when it comes to showing gore. Like, they'll allow cursing, they'll allow sexual overtones, they'll allow a bunch of stuff. But you show any kind of gore and guts, they edit that out, which is weird because watching Diamond is Unbreakable, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. When people blow up, it's not a big black mark. There's actually like some other stuff attached to this thing right now. So it's easy to forget that they do edit things out in the initial broadcast, which is why when you buy the Blu-rays, you get the full experience.
Yeah. And let's just say Golden Experience. Golden Wind rather. This one has been getting. This is by far like the nastiest, most brutal, like ice cold JoJo arc yet.
Right. I mean,
and I'm loving it.
Prosciutto gets mangled underneath a train, and Pesci's like trying to aim the hook towards Bucciarati's heart. And after Bucciarati manages to get himself back into the train, is when Pesci kind of develops that ice cold thing. He's like, my brother just died. I know the jerk who killed him. he sees the point you mentioned earlier, the aging person, and he just straight up steps on the neck and just like kills the man. And he's like, he finally develops his killer instinct. And at this point, Bruno realizes like, oh, especially because he keeps seeing the hook trying to get to him. He's like, this one was the actual dangerous one of the two. And that was some intense kind of hiding, the way he just kept tearing himself apart with sticking fingers just to avoid that hook just getting to his heart.
I mean, I was scared he was going to die at some point. Like, legitimate died this time.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's that part where he has a heart, like, split in two, and he's like, if this doesn't stay beaten for long enough, I may end up dying. And I'm like, dude, don't die. Please don't die.
Yeah, and it was sheer luck that he managed to get through.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like that's a lot of the JoJo fights. It's like, there's a lot of skill, yes, but there's a great amount of just sheer stupid luck.
Oh, yeah.
And that was like the epitome of just stupid luck.
Right, but once the train stopped and Bruno put himself back together, because Pesci was just tired of, he's like, where did he go? Just stopped the train to try to find him. Bruno puts himself back together and redirects the line towards Pesci, and that itself also made for a very uneasy visual.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we finally got Bruno's battle cry again, because Pesci, not one to admit defeat at this point, tried to crush the turtle with everyone still in there, and we got Bruno's tears him apart. Arrivederci. And I'm like,
Arrivederci.
I'm like, yeah. And oh man,
Arrivederci.
And we can definitely say Pesci was definitely not the same man he used to be. There's a little bit of him over here, a little bit of him over there, a little bit of him over by the river, a little bit of him over by the tracks. Ooh, man.
He got blowed up.
BTFO'd. And at the end, we get a hint of Trisha's stand, which I think at this point we were all expecting it, right? It wasn't a twist.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, she was, a stand user. I mean, it's if stands are. I would imagine a stand could be a genetic thing. Like if you're born of a stand user, you could probably get a stand.
Look at Josuke.
Yeah.
And JoJo and Holly.
Obviously, the boss has a stand. Otherwise, he wouldn't fucking surround himself with stand users.
Stand users, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, you're not gonna bring yourself into that many dangerous people, no matter how many regular armed bodyguards you have. Without a stand. So clearly he's gonna have some big, bad, powerful super stand that, obviously we don't know anything about that yet.
At this point,
so it makes sense that Trish would have one.
What it is,
whether or not she was aware of it, that remained to be seen until now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna find out for a little bit though, like how long it's seen.
The full extent.
Yeah.
All right, but that was the Grateful Dead arc of Golden Wind. Any last thoughts you guys had on it before we head out?
No, I really enjoyed the insanity of the stands in this arc. I mean, I didn't expect that level of creativity for the turtle, or either stand for the fights. Like that was just well done.
Connor?
Real good cat and mouse, slow paced, super suspenseful thing. I do like my fights fast and hard and nasty, But I also like the dread factor and the I like to call it the panic factor. I like it when there's a good panic factor in JoJo's. Sort of like what they had on the ship or the yacht when nobody knew what the hell was going on, where people were going. You kind of got this similar feeling in this arc with oh man, are they going to be able to? How long are they going to be able to last with this dude aging everybody? And then it's just ramped up at a certain point and just exploded into a crazy, awesome, great fight. It made me worry a lot about characters that I am very fond of, and I can't wait to see what perils they will go through next.
This arc taught me our main characters will not die today, but now I have a false sense of security that next time they look like they're going to die, oh, look, someone's going to save them, but when it doesn't, I'll be more upset.
It definitely gives the vibe that they're not more powerful than their other opponents, and at any moment, one slip up can cost them.
Oh yeah.
So they managed to get away this time, but it's only going to get harder and harder for them because, as we see at the end, even though they just defeated 2 stand users, they already have another one trailing them. And man, are we in for even more insane fights next time.
Oof, yeah.
That has been it for today's episode. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. We'll catch you all next time. Say goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.